At highway speeds, the average text takes your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds. That's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop texts, stopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a successful motivational speaker and trusted life coach, Nancy knows how you can live the life you want regardless of the challenges you face. Although she's legally blind, Nancy's mission is to inspire others to overcome obstacles and live life full out. Call in at 800-333-0001 to ask Nancy for advice on topics such as relationships, finances, business, health, and more. Just call 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001.
Country here, you might be dealing with some weather challenges. You might be sunny where you are. The reason I reference that is because isn't it amazing how weather, how warm and cold can affect our outlook on life, our emotions, our attitudes. And I bring that up because today we're going to be talking about letting go of burdens in our life, letting go of the way things affect us, letting go of our past that haunts us. And sometimes we have to let go of things that we can't control, right? Like the weather. Now, here I am in sunny California, and it's a bright outlook, and I'm going to go out later and work out and do fun things. But if you're in a place where you're not motivated, if you're in a place where you're surrounded by people that are not positive, they're not supporting you in your goals, then I'm super glad that you're with us today, because our show today is not only going to be motivational, but it's really a time for you to call in. It's a time for you to have an outlet, a way for you to ask questions around things that keep you up at night. And that's what this show is for. So you can call in at 800-333-0001. In fact, we're going to go to the phone lines now. Welcome to the Living Full Out Show. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi, thank you for calling. What's going on today?
I just would really like to start eating healthier, but I'm really having trouble avoiding cravings for junk food, so I'm just not sure how to stay committed to a healthy diet.
Me too. Oh my gosh. Are you reading my mind? My goodness.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sure a lot of listeners are also nodding their heads. It's tough, right? What is your favorite thing that you turn to that you know is naughty, but you love to eat it?
Probably I love chips and salsa.
Yep, that would be like my number 2 besides mac and cheese. But
yeah,
here's the thing.
Mac and cheese is a good one.
It's a good one too, right? And so when it goes down, when we're enjoying the bites, it tastes so good. But then afterwards, we feel guilty, right?
Yeah.
When you talk about getting more fit, eating the right foods, where are you in your life? Are you at a weight? Are you at a physical, shape or fitness level where you're proud of, that you feel content with? Or are you maybe, not where you want to be?
I think I'm probably a little above where I would like to be. I mean, I'm pretty, I've accepted my body, but at the same time I would like to be healthier and just create a healthier lifestyle for myself.
And do you have a vision of what you would like to feel like in terms of being healthy, in terms of what you want to look like? Do you have a vision of that?
I think I just would like to be happier with myself and just be able to do everything I want to do and not be scared. So if I would like to go start running or something and not have to be out of breath within 10 seconds into the run.
Well, and all that is possible. The reason why I bring up the vision for your life is because let's just take foods, when we eat the wrong foods or when we're trying to stay away from certain foods, you want to envision what it feels like, how healthy you feel when you eat the right foods. And let that powerful emotion, that powerful vision, help you not to eat the wrong things. Same with working out. When I let my mind go to what it feels like after I work out. And I do my Jane Fonda's. I love that. But after I work out and I'm sweaty, I feel so alive. I feel a little bit like I have a hop in my skip. I'm doing well. You want to always tap into those positive feelings. Same goes for whenever you've been at a weight that you really felt good about. When you go to the mall and just everything fits. There's the days that nothing fits and the days that you go and everything fits. Home run of the day, right? So as you go along in your journey to be healthy, to feel healthy, you want to always remember what it feels like, how good it makes you feel to be healthy. And let that hold you back from the temptations. What the vision of what it looks like to look healthy. And, I believe in the 80-20 rule. I really do. I think that there's times where you should just have those chips and salsa. Eat it, because cravings are one of those things where if you limit yourself, you're just going to want it more and more. So just have it, do it, love it, enjoy it, but then maybe do an extra walk. You give a little bit more the next time. Is that something you can do?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your help.
Absolutely. And just know we're all there with you. We all have that same challenge, so you're not alone. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye. So,
Bye.
that caller and I have very similar loves, chips, salsa, and mac and cheese. But sometimes you got to let that go to get the results that you want in your life. Not today.
Yeah, I was calling in because I recently had to fire and let go of a close friend of mine, and I was wondering if you had any advice on how I could rebuild that relationship.
That's a really good question. And actually, I've been there before. That was a tough one when I did that too.
Yeah, it's rough.
Here's the thing. I just got to ask a couple questions. The friend that got fired, is that friend aware of why they got fired? Like, do they understand why?
Yes. It was explained to her, but I'm not sure she accepts the reason.
And the reason why I asked that was the decision only on your shoulders to fire her, or was that coming from a higher place?
It was coming from a higher up. Yeah.
Higher up. Okay. I believe that having dialogue around that is going to be really important, but you want to pick the method that this friend prefers the most in terms of communication, because some people are more apt to take criticism, good or bad, if they read it. Some are better over the phone. Some are better in person. So what would be the best vehicle for you to communicate with her so she really gets it?
Probably in writing, probably sending her a letter or
an email.
Or something like that, an email or something, yeah.
Okay. I would stay away from text only because it's hard to really bring in the emotion of it. So I would do a letter or do an email, because text can get a little choppy and then you never know how it quite lands on that person. And I would send her an email. And first of all, I believe in bringing out the positive of that person, and then also sharing with her the why. Now, were there other people at this company that ever got fired for something similar?
Yes.
Okay. That's important to bring out in that letter, because it will make her feel less victimized, less alone, less singled out. If this is something that others have been fired for as well, then she's not just like, it's not that she did something wrong. It's just this is something that others have done as well, and it may not be the right fit for her. So I would definitely bring that up. I would bring out the positives. And then I like to look at getting fired like an opportunity to go somewhere else. There's a time that I had to fire somebody only just a couple of months ago. And when I did that, I shared with her, I said, you know what? You were wonderful to be here and you contributed a lot while you were part of this team. But I've learned that your passions are actually in a different industry. Because when we talk about that, you light up. So sometimes it's helpful to help them see a different opportunity. And if you've ever had conversations about a hobby or another passion that they have, that might be a better career choice. So you want to quickly stop focusing on being fired, but go to a different opportunity, one that would light them up. Does that make sense?
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And so when you put that letter together and you're confronting what is, telling her she's not alone, she was not the only one, bringing out the positives, and then really moving on to what would be a better fit for her, and then saying, you know what, plus I miss our friendship, call me if you want to talk. That's really hard not to want to call you because you've been a good friend. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah. So, I know you'll do great. I think it's wonderful that you called in. I hope that my advice was helpful to you. And it sounds like you should put that letter out there because this sounds like it's a friendship that you don't want to lose. And I believe in if you ever want to be friends with someone, stay after them. All you could do is send them an email, a text, Happy New Year's, Happy Birthday. Eventually they will come around. And if they don't, always know that you did your best. You tried. That's all you can do.
Thank you.
Okay. But thank you for calling in, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. You too.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We're talking today about letting go. Some friendships we will have to let go of, but some not. Letting go of things in life is not easy. Sometimes we want to try. We don't want to lose anything. Losing is not built in a lot of us to do that. So you don't look at letting go like losing. Look at it like sometimes you have to set something free. And there's that saying, if you set something free and it comes back to it's yours, I believe in that. I do. So just look at what is in your life that you feel is holding you down, holding you back. Set it free, and maybe it was the right move, maybe not, but at least you took that step forward. That's what Living Full Out's about. We'll be right back.
Isn't this dinner party wonderful? Jeanette and Bill did so much planning, and the house looks great.
Well, it was almost canceled. Did you hear that Bill was really sick with the flu 2 weeks ago?
No.
Medication that helped him get back on his feet.
I didn't know flu was so serious until I heard Bill say he felt like he'd been hit by a truck. He missed a big meeting at work.
Well, thank goodness Jeanette had gotten her flu shot. Because, she's expecting.
What? Oh, man.
I guess that was another thing you guys didn't know either.
A message from the Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi. I can't come to the phone right now because I'm abusing my children. Not just verbally, but physically. I'll get back to you.
If only child abuse was this easy to recognize. If you even suspect abuse, call Child Help at 1-800-4A-CHILD or visit childhelp.org. We've helped millions of people help millions of children. All calls are anonymous and confidential, so call 1-800-4A-CHILD or visit childhelp.org. Child Help. Trust your instincts. Brought to you by Child Help and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text.
But in our world, protecting the beauty of the forest is the responsibility of everyone.
Listen well, all of you.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans and can be prevented.
We'll all pitch in. If humans can do it, so can we.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Log on to SmokeyBear.com to find out what you can do. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. A professional motivational speaker, Nancy can help you overcome obstacles and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and today we are talking about letting go. How do we let go of people in our life, friendships that we've lost? How do we let go of emotions that we know are not healthy for us? How do we let go of habits that are not best supporting us? And I want to thank all the callers that have called in today. They are perfect examples of this theme for us today. But now I want to focus our attention to our inspirational guest, Brenna Burk. Honestly, she has been dealing with obsessive-compulsive disorder, which is OCD, as well as depression through her entire life. And she's going to share with us today kind of what that journey was like, what she's learned, how she survives those really hard days. So I'd like to welcome Brenna. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You know what? I've thought about you all morning because you are really so honest and open about your OCD and the times that you have depression. And sometimes I know those are kind of taboo or hard things to talk about. But I first of all just want to really let you know that I honor and respect you so much because of that honesty.
Oh. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
No, you are courageous in so many ways. And you know, everybody listening today, we're here to learn from you. You know, the walk that you've had in life, the hard days, the things you've learned. We just want to soak that up today and let you be our teacher. So again, thank you for that, for being here.
Absolutely.
Now, I want to kind of catch our listeners up a little bit on your story and when it began. And in our previous conversation, you shared with me that it really started around middle school, around 6th grade, and that's when you started to have traits of OCD. And can you share with us a little bit about that?
Yes, of course. So I want to say it was the summer after 6th grade, and I was very young. I started to feel like my OCD started kind of with confessions. So I would feel like I had to confess things, just even the smallest things that I shouldn't have felt guilty about. But my OCD was much centered around guilt, and I didn't understand really where it was coming from. And I didn't even think twice about it because I was too young to realize that something abnormal was happening to me. But just at that age, I started to feel like I needed to confess things, and I just kept doing it continually, and so it just kind of got worse from there. And then that is also when my other compulsions started to happen.
Well, I'm just curious, just so we have an understanding, what were some of the thoughts that you had, or what were some of the things that you felt you had to confess? What were some of those?
Yeah, so some of those, I don't know. So I was raised to, always follow the rules and just be a very good person in general by my mom. And so any time that I would, just break a tiny rule, or not even break a rule, but just bend it. Like, for example, if I just had my phone in class, or if I talked to a friend in class, or just something really small like that, or if I, had gum in my dance class and I wasn't supposed to. Those were things that overwhelmed me with guilt, and those were the kind of things that I started to confess.
You also had like certain thoughts or visions that you felt were, kind of scary actually, and you had to confess those. What were those like?
Yeah, so they started to get pretty graphic and scary. Some of my thoughts, I would just picture myself or loved ones in really scary situations, like around guns, or just getting hurt in some way, assaulted, and these thoughts would just come into my head, and I couldn't stop them, but I felt really guilty for even thinking that, because I would never want that to happen to somebody that I love.
Well, that would be scary. I mean, that would be, I could see feeling guilty, but also scary because you don't want to think the thought and then it happens. So I think anybody would understand that. Now, when you say confess, because that's kind of a unique word, who were you confessing? Who were you telling all of these little things to?
So all of these things were going to my mom, actually. She was the only one that I felt like somewhat comfortable with, but she was also the one that I felt like had to hear them for some reason. She was like my go-to. I felt like once I told her, it would be off my chest.
So would you call her? Would you text her? Would you email her?
Yeah, I would actually email her, which is crazy now because, we lived in the same household, but I was just too scared and confused by my own thoughts to actually confront her in person and say these things out loud. So I would send her emails daily, sometimes multiple times a day, about all of these things that I was thinking about.
Now, did you understand what this was? And if you could share for our listeners real quick, what is OCD in your view?
Okay, so I didn't understand what it was for a very long time, actually. I just didn't think anything different of it. I just kind of saw myself as crazy. But OCD, so obsessive-compulsive disorder, is just where so the obsessions are just like the things that you think about repeatedly, the intrusive thoughts, and then the compulsions are where you actually act out on those things. So you might have to start to do a certain ritual, a certain amount of times, or check things. So it's kind of a two-part thing. It's in your mind, and then it's in your actions, and you kind of feel like it's just taking over you completely.
Now, you had a ritual about a certain room where you had to do a certain amount of steps, or bad things would happen.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So I will specifically always remember this room. It was my living room, actually, at the time. And whenever I would walk across that room, it was a wood floor. And it was between the dining room and the kitchen. And I would have to take a certain number of steps. At this moment, I can't recall the number. I want to say it was 9 or something like that. But I would count my steps in that room, and sometimes it would happen in other places as well. But I specifically remember it being there, and I would just feel this sense of panic if I, didn't get that number of steps in that room, or if I messed it up in any way, per se.
And that, I imagine, was just... it took up a lot of time in your day, or I would try to avoid that room as much as possible. But yes. Did your family help you seek therapy around this, or just how was it diagnosed, and how did you deal with that?
Yeah, so I think after a while, email after email, day after day, my mom, she started to notice. She was like, "This is very stressful on your part." And at one point I actually did start to cry about it when she came down, and I was in the middle of sending her an email, and she said, I think that it would really help you to get some help. And I cried and I said, no, I don't want to go get help. I don't want to talk about it. But eventually, I saw the better side of that, and I said, okay, I can't live like this forever. I would be okay with going to get help. So that's when I began a little bit of counseling.
And was the counseling useful? Was it helpful, or did you find it not so much?
My first counselor, I actually really didn't find it super helpful because I was so young, and she was actually an older lady. There was just a huge gap, and at this point I was still so shy. So some of the things that she would ask me about and just ask me to talk about, I really wasn't comfortable. So that's when I actually began to avoid my appointments. And one day I just didn't go. And then I never went back at that point to that same counselor. So I really don't feel as if I got anything beneficial from that or did any healing per se.
And it might have been the age that you were at also.
Yes.
Now you were saying that there was a brief time that it kind of went away, but then it flared up and came back again when you were a teenager?
Yeah. So it actually just kind of started to go away on its own. It took probably about a year, but the thoughts dissipated a little bit. And then for some reason, it kicked back up during my junior year of high school, and it was definitely very intense all over again. I was probably 15 or 16 at the time, and it was definitely just as bad as the first round, but this time I was a little older and more mature, so I was even more scared by my thoughts because at this point I realized that that not everybody else around me was thinking this way.
Were you still confessing to your mom at this time, or who did you confess to now?
So now it was actually my boyfriend at the time. We were together for quite a while in high school, but when we had first gotten together is when it really got bad. And so he, in this case, started to be the one that I would confess to rather than my mom.
Did he understand what was happening? I mean, had you shared with him your previous experience?
I I had not. I was very closed off about it. I think more than anything, just embarrassed, and I felt guilty and ashamed, and I just didn't want to let him into this part of my life, and I just didn't feel that there were any words I could explain it in. And at this point, I still wasn't even sure that I had OCD for sure, and I really felt like I was completely alone in this and that he wouldn't understand, so I just didn't bother telling him, which now I realize is probably a mistake, but yeah, I was very closed off about it.
And so really only your mother was the keeper of the secret, it sounds like, or maybe your very, inner family.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it was pretty, kept it to basically just her.
Wow. Well, when we come back, we're going to take a brief break, but there was a moment in time here where kind of everything kind of hit and crashed down, and you kind of had your breakthrough.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that when we come back, okay?
Okay, perfect.
All right,
Thank
stay
you.
with us. Everybody, we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Hi, professional skateboarder Tony Hawk here with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck to remind you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you'll have the energy to skate through anything.
Nice play on words, Doc.
That's how I roll, Bugs. So whether you like to work the half pipe,
now that's catching air,
kick the soccer ball around, or dance in your room,
just move it your way.
For an hour a day.
The way you like to move, as long as you're moving.
Carve out some time every day and get active. Because it's time to do a 180 on what you think exercise is.
Because it can be whatever you want it to be. So be a player.
Be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc. Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
At www.letsmove.gov. Let's hear that one more time, Doc. That's www.letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
I want to change some things. I want the moms where I live to have childcare they can trust.
So many ways you can help create opportunities for everyone in your community.
I want to change what I see around here.
United Way is creating real, lasting change where you live by focusing on the building blocks of a better life: education, income, and health.
I just want to see more smiles on my sidewalks.
Reach out a hand to one and influence the condition of all. Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. For more, visit United Way at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a trusted life coach, Nancy will help you overcome setbacks and embrace all life has to offer. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us here at the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and we are continuing our interview with Brenna Burk, as she is sharing with us about her experience growing up and having OCD, obsessive-compulsive disorder, as well as depression, and really how she evolved as a person through that journey. So I'd like to welcome back Brenna. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, you just told us all about, kind of the initial growing up with this and the rituals, the obsessive side, the compulsive side, and how that kind of evolved from, early childhood to your teenage years. In a previous conversation I had with you, we had talked about that day that you just let it go. You had hit your limit. And I think that in every story, that's an important one to talk about, because who doesn't just get so frustrated that they just can't handle it? Can you share with us about that?
Yeah. So it was actually the second time around that I had that really bad wave of OCD. So it was my junior year of high school. I had been seeing a different counselor this time, and I was still being really discouraged by these counseling sessions. I wasn't feeling any progress from them yet. So my mom had actually taken me home from one of them, and when we got home, she opened the garage door, we pulled in the garage, and I lost it. I started to cry and scream, and I actually threw my iPhone on the garage floor. It luckily didn't break. I'm really not sure how, but I just didn't even feel like myself. I had never yelled like that in my life. I had never cried and screamed so much, and I just really felt like that had been building up for years.
Letting go of that emotions, letting go of that, there must have been so much fear and frustration. I mean, throwing that cell phone, who hasn't wanted to do that at one time in their life, let alone it not breaking?
I know.
I mean, you were just letting it all go, sister. You were just letting it go.
I was, yes.
But from that experience, what did you gain from that? From purging how you felt, what did you gain?
From that, I think the most important thing I learned is just how absolutely critical it is that you do find an outlet for your feelings. I had been bottling them up for so long, and to see them come out in that way just proved to me so much that, you can't keep your feelings in for that long. So I think from that day forward, I started to be more open about how I was feeling and talk about my feelings and my thoughts more.
You had signs of what you had. You've probably been in therapy. They'd probably, told you had OCD, and you're kind of working that through. But then the depression settles in, because that hadn't been something that you had experienced earlier. Why did you experience depression in your late teens?
I think it just came with being older. I really had so much confusion in my younger years, and I just wasn't mentally as mature. And so as I started to get older, and also just these things building up for years and years, I think that is really what started to cause the depression. And it's just kind of a moment when I realized, I just don't know if I'm ever going to get relief or feel like a normal person again. So I think that just getting older is kind of what made that depression settle in.
And I'm just curious, because what are your feelings about mental health? We talk about it sometimes, in conversation, or you hear about it in the news, and you're living it every day, the struggle. What are your thoughts on that in terms of, are there enough resources out there for people? Did you feel like it's swept under the rug, it's not talked about? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so this is a good question. I actually feel very strongly about this, particularly because I think that we do have a lot of resources out there, and I think people can get help if they seek it, but I think the problem is that nobody feels comfortable seeking it, and so it feels like there's no resources. It feels like we can't talk about these things because we'll be looked at as weak, or just not able to handle our own struggles, or as begging for attention, when this really isn't the case. It's actually just as crippling as a physical disease, and I really think that we just need to be more open about it and make people feel more comfortable with it, because it really is hard to go through those things, let alone go through those things all by yourself.
I can get that. I mean, it's interesting. Being legally blind, I, for a long time, did not want to tell people. Now, that seems pretty crazy, because, I was probably falling all over myself. But, I'm sure it is very scary to start the dialogue of talking about your OCD or depression or any of that. For our listeners that are, with us today and are hearing your story, and if somebody is dealing with this themselves, whether it be OCD, depression, or another condition, how do they take that first step? Who do they know who to trust?
Yeah, I really think it absolutely takes a lot of courage But I honestly think that everybody probably has somebody in their life that really cares for them. And I really think that this opening up to that person is really important, because I think people around you want you to succeed and they want you to be okay. And if they have no idea, then they can't help you do those things. But I really think that just whoever you feel most comfortable with, and then, there's always, for last resort, there's hotlines, there's, counseling within the community. I just always think that there's something. And even just opening up in the smallest way, just telling one tiny segment of your whole story to somebody can really feel like a huge relief.
I bet. And I'm just curious, and I know this is kind of a tough question I'm going to ask, but what is it that you fear the most?
What do I fear the most, you said?
Mm-hmm. With regards to your conditions.
Yeah, I think what I fear the most is just never seeing a break from it, never feeling relief, never having this demon go away. And that just really scares me, because I really, really I appreciate so much about life and would love to enjoy every part of it. But the things I go through mentally kind of prevent me from doing that sometimes. And I guess I just get scared that I'm never going to feel actually happy and whole again.
Yeah. It's great that you have opened yourself up. I mean, and thank you again for taking us on this journey, because, you only confessed to your mom, and then it was your boyfriend, and now it's other friends, and now it's our community. And I mean, you've grown so much. And
thank you.
And while we have to sometimes acknowledge our fears, and you did that so perfectly, what brings you the most hope when you consider who you are today? When you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you see?
What brings me the most hope is just seeing that I'm still here today, and I've gotten through it all, and I know that this has made me so incredibly strong as a person. Just going through these things, I always see the next day. I always tend to make it through, and it gives me a lot of hope that I've
just letting go because it was too hard. And when you consider that, what held you back from taking that step?
I think what held me back the most is not only just, I knew that there were so many people in my life that, I have people to live for. I love my family. I love so many things about life. I love people around me. And there are moments where I do feel happy. Like, I've experienced very happy feelings and just feeling very good about life. And I know that getting through the hard moments is very worth it to experience those happy times in life, because life is just such a blessing in itself, and it's so beautiful. And I'm holding on to that hope that one day I will be able to fully experience that beauty of life every single day without having these mental struggles. And I really think that, if I keep working at it, I really will see that light. So I'm just holding on to the hope, and I think just knowing that there is good out there is what keeps me holding on.
And I love that. Remember something, Brenna, you have a superpower. You know what that is?
What's that?
What do you think your superpower is? Your superpower is that you have, through this learned interpretation of life, you have this unique ability to let hope live within you, but also let it shine through you. And when you keep telling your story, as hard as it is, you give other people hope. That is a superpower, to be able to do that, to be that vehicle, to be that messenger. So, however things evolve here, just hold on to that as tight as you can, that your purpose, your being, your reason for life, it all comes from this journey, from this experience.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much. That means a lot to me, because my goal from all of this is to inspire and just help others and know that they're not alone. I would love for people to feel that way around me and learn from my story and use it in their own stories to hold on to that hope.
Well, and you're doing that every day. And so thank you so much for being a part of our show. And I just feel very lucky and blessed to have met you. And for everybody listening, listen to this again. A lot of great lessons learned. Thank you so much, Brenna.
Thank you so much. It was great to be here.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your Saturday. And everybody,
thank you. You as well.
Thank you. And everybody, we're going to be coming back taking your calls right after this break.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
You remember that ball game we went to a couple years ago?
Sure.
And how you didn't have enough cash for 2 hot dogs, so you walked with me on your shoulders until we found an ATM? And then when we got back to our seats, we never saw the hot dog guy again.
Well, I don't remember all that.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
You never know which moments will be the ones they'll remember forever, so take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Medical mistakes claim tens of thousands of lives every year. The healthcare community is working on it, but you can help. When you communicate with your doctor, when you ask more questions, you reduce your risk of suffering a medical mistake. Doctors can't answer if you don't ask. Help reduce your risk. Questions are the answer. Learn the 10 questions you must ask. Visit www.ahrq.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, and the Ad Council.
I'm getting a catcher's mitt.
I'm getting ice skates. I'm getting a devastating flood.
Adults are generous. We're even giving kids global warming, but we can still reduce greenhouse gas pollution. Go to fightglobalwarming.com. Brought to you by Environmental Defense, the Robertson Foundation, and the Ad Council.
There are many sounds in your daily life. Ones that make you smile. Ones that help you relax. And there are some sounds that can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you critical information about emergencies in your area. With updates from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know wherever you are. Learn more at ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is President Barack Obama. In the story of America, the greatest chapters are moments of challenge, when we see people serving their country and one another. Volunteers who step forward into hospital corridors and church basements, along levees and fire lines. And the next chapter is yours to help write. Sign up to volunteer at usaservice.org. That's usaservice.org. Let's renew America together.
A message from Renew America Together, brought to you by the Ad Council.
To live full out is to let go of things that are not supporting you, that are not part of your vision, your ultimate goal in life. Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes stepping out there and being courageous enough to say, this is not working for me. I need help. I need your help. That is living full out. When you can embrace support, when you can seek resources, then you're able to let go on your terms.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a certified life coach, Nancy can help you to overcome challenges and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Living Full Out show. Gosh, these shows go so fast. I always get to this last segment, and I'm empowered, I'm excited, I'm inspired, but I'm going to miss you until next week. But this is the time when we also take more of your calls. Again, that number is 800-333-0001. Today we've been talking about letting go. We've been talking about evaluating our life, what it is that we need to release from our life in order to be free, in order to live our lives full out. And sometimes that's incorporating better habits, eating healthier, being healthier. Sometimes that's communicating our thoughts and our feelings so that others are not just expected to know and they're not mind readers, but they're actually able to be there for us and be a source of support. And most of all, looking back on our last guest, Brenna Burk, I mean, wow, to acknowledge this month, how can we be more vocal? How can we purge this negative energy in our body, not in a harmful, negative way, but how can we do it in a way that serves us? We're going to go back to the phone lines now. Welcome to the Living Full Out Show. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm great. So tell us, how are you doing? What's going on?
I'm doing great. I'm on this new workout kick, and I was wondering if you have any advice of how to stay motivated when you just start working out.
Yeah, I am right there with you. In fact, after the show, I want to go work out. And there's a part of me that's like, ooh, I'm kind of feeling tired. So I get it. But one of the things that you want to think about is when you work out, the positive feelings you get from that. What do you enjoy most in terms of working out? Do you run? Do you do aerobics? Do you like weightlifting? What do you do?
I mostly run. My roommates and I, we really have gotten into just running every day. We do a lot of ab workouts and just conditioning.
So is there a time of day when you feel more energetic, that you're more apt to go run?
I would say probably the afternoon, or early in the morning. It just depends on how I'm feeling that day. Sometimes I'll want to work out at night, which is really weird. And I know it's really bad to work out at night because it gets you energetic when you should be sleeping. But yeah, whenever I feel like it, whenever I have time. I'm a full-time college student, so it's just whenever I can find the time.
Well, the thing about working out, the thing about eating right, the whole movement of better health is you got to look at two things. You have to go with how you feel, because if you're feeling energetic, if you're passionate about it, ride that wave as long as you can. Okay? So passion is number one. Yeah. But some days when we're tired, when you've been studying, or if the day is just kind of beat you up right and left, you might not feel that passion. There may be no passion, right? So then you got to look at the second aspect of it, which is the payoff, which is what you're going to get from that result. When you work out, you automatically release stress out of your body. When you work out, those endorphins start kicking in and you're much happier. You're more clear. Even if you work out at night, you're going to dream bigger, having worked out, having depleted all that negative energy out of your body. So sometimes when we're the most tired, we have to think about, okay, I really don't want to go work out, but I remember how good it feels when I do. I know that if I work out, my metabolism is going to burn through the night, and that's going to get me to maybe my weight goal, whatever it is. You want to really tap into how it feels. So let's say you go running today, okay? I want you, after your run, to really tap into your body. I want you to feel what it's like when you're breathing really heavy in your throat. I want you to feel the sweat on your body. I want you to think about during your shower how much better you feel. I want you to think about after your workout, what are you choosing to eat? Oftentimes after we work out, we don't go for the Pringles. We don't go for the negative foods. We usually feel pretty good about ourselves. We have a banana, we have water, we have something that's healthy, because we're not going to work out and then just put junk food in us. So what are you choosing to eat? Tap into those emotions.
Yeah, definitely. I am on a healthy food eating kick, which is great. And I definitely fuel my body with foods that are good for me and eat for sustenance. I try not to eat too late at night. And I feel like it's working out for me.
Where's the breakdown, though? There must be a breakdown, or you wouldn't have called in.
I just wanted some good advice.
Okay.
That's why I called.
Well, nothing wrong with that. So just, take it easy. You're on the right path, and just keep on moving, because moving is going to get you to where you want to go, whether they're running, walking, talking, you name it. So thank you so much for calling in, and we know you're going to be doing great things here.
Thank you so much. This
Take
is
care.
really helpful.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Goodbye.
So what a great example of letting go. You know, here she is, a runner. When she's running, she's probably feeling free. She's probably feeling her most alert, most awake. And that's how we all want to feel in life. So as we kind of wrap up today's show, you want to think about, you know, what do you need to let go of so you can be free? I've learned in my own life that I'm not going to say I'm a workaholic, because my work is not work. It's a passion. It's a hobby. It's what I love. But I know that if I don't schedule things out, if I don't schedule a workout in, if I don't put myself first in terms of the personal life, in terms of working out or connecting with friends, it's really easy to let the days flip by one day after another. And I know a lot of you are nodding your heads, because in a blink of an eye, it goes from Monday to Monday, right? And then we're like, wow, that week went fast. Well, you have the ability to slow down the car. You have the ability to cherish life a little bit more by scheduling, by putting yourself first, by connecting with others. You know, we've had a lot of people call in today about working out. It's the time of the year. People are getting ready for summer and spring and so forth, and just wanting to get in better shape. So I want you to think about today, as we wrap up the show, what do you need to let go of in your life so that you can take that next leap forward? And if it's health related, like our callers have been today, then it's just putting together more healthy habits. If it's a relationship, if you feel like there's somebody that's not supporting you, or you feel like you're, you know, not able to thrive like you'd like, then again, that might be another moment where you have to step up and confidently say to those people in your life, I need your help, or please back off, or give me space, because you need that space. You need that time to grow and to learn. And then for many of you, because I get so many coaching clients that are just desiring a career change or a promotion, or just wanting to like be of purpose and enjoy what they do. If you fall into that category, again, you might need to let go of a job that you're in that you don't like, so that you can embrace something you love more. And somebody might say, well, Nancy, that's great, but I got to pay the bills. Well, then work that full-time job, and on the weekends or in the evenings, consider education, or consider a part-time job, or something you can do to tap into that passion. It's hard to jump from one lily pad to another, you know, without having that connection. You got to be able to connect those dots. If you need further support around that, I want you to give me a call, Living Full Out, because that's what we do. That's why we do this show. Again, the number at Living Full Out is 310-909-7800. And also go to our website if you have any questions. It's livingfullout.com. Lots of resources on there. Plus, you can catch our shows each week there and listen to it live. And I really find that at this time in the show, I like to say thanks to everybody who's been a part of this. We come here each week to motivate you, to support you, and that's what we're here for. So I want to thank the production team, Mindy Lockhart and Rich Hall, and everybody at Living Full Out from a writing perspective, from research, who try to come up with these main themes and articles and guests and everybody, so that you can be empowered to live full out in your life. And most of all, I want to thank the callers that call in each week, because everybody who calls in, you're going to have to let go of things to get there. But sometimes you're going to have to ask for what you want, ask for support at the same time. We're going to be back next week, of course, taking your calls, bringing you another inspirational guest that will serve as inspiration for not just you, but me and everybody to move forward. And remember one thing about letting go. It's tough. We live in a what's in it for me society sometimes. We live in this society where we don't want to give up anything. We don't want to, quote, quote, lose anything. But sometimes cleaning your house, letting go of things, working out, letting go of that weight that's been hanging on your body, letting go of friendships that don't serve you, that's setting you free. And I say freedom because you want to feel like you can exhale. You want to feel like you can be your best version of yourself. And the only way to be that is sometimes to let go. Courageously say, this is not working for me. I'm going to set this free because I know, I believe, I'm confident, I have faith that around the corner, great things are waiting for me. Hold on to your faith. Never let go of that. We'll be back next week. Here's to you living your life full out. Thank you.